You know, it wasn't too long ago that Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk were going toe-to-toe between Meta and X, who could beat each other up. And I always remember from the beginning, I know Zuckerberg could kick Elon's butt. But I want you guys to see to the end of the video, I got an interesting philosophy on Elon Musk and the new Zuckerberg 2.0 when it comes to MMA, jiu-jitsu, and all that stuff. I digress. That being said, all right, I got Mark Zuckerberg at his competition. We did a video about a week ago with Lex Friedman and rolling with him. So I want to watch him at his match actually from the training that he did with him. And I want to see how that translated. That being said, too, I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll further talk about it in the end of the video. Please stay around. That I wouldn't be surprised if Mark in a few months comes back and starts competing again. He had a leg injury, and again, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back on the mats here pretty soon. So that being said, let's hop into it. Let's check out this match at BJJ Tour in somewhere.
The lead team, Monterey. Also in third, Haley King of 4 Elements Fitness.
All right, we got some collar ties. Opponent's pulling him down.
And second,
No real takedown
of UFC Fit San Jose.
entries yet.
And in first, Fredo Peters.
Oh, whoa! Was Mark Zuckerberg pulling a gi? Sir, that right there, that's a DQ. So right off the bat, that's why jiu-jitsu, gi jiu-jitsu is always better than no gi. I don't care who you are. I don't care about you guys. I'll do it. That's why gi is so much better. Hey, thanks, Mark Zuckerberg. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg. Proved my point. Okay, so no takedowns yet. Mark, I think, is trying to pull him up to shoot for the takedown, because that's what we do in gi. We pull up and then we shoot. Pull up, going for the double leg. Homeboy defends with a guillotine. Now, Mark's doing a good job by putting a hand on the elbow, trying to pull his head out. Oh, he has an arm in guillotine, which is a little more difficult. Mark doing a good job putting pressure on him, trying to relieve the choke. Now let's not play favorites. Let's not play favorites. To do a proper guillotine, guys, because remember, this is white belt. This is white belt situation here. When you have that lock here, when you have a arm in guillotine, it's really hard to flare up our elbow. Because when we have our head in here, with that arm that's tucked in, it's really hard for us to extend that elbow to get that choke a little tighter. Now, when the hand is not in there, when we don't have a hand and arm, and we've got just a straight guillotine, we actually can turn our hand around and lift up, or push our wrist up into the neck. We can actually go from here or here, lifting up, and then we can actually turn and crank that up even more, because that's what we're trying to push this into, that carotid artery right there. Home slice on the bottom here. He's pulling away, and in a sense that works, but when you pull away like that, two things happen. One, when you pull away, you're increasing the space down here because our torsos naturally slide in, but it does on the upper side increase or decrease the space up here. So if we have a smaller neck and we hunch down, we actually can survive. What we really want to do, what I want to see him do, is take his legs and actually pull him in. I want to see him pull in. That's why you get a lot of responses by people going on their tippy toes and jumping over, relieving that pressure, because they're going to want to bring him in. Okay, I'm going to relieve that pressure and jump over, and try to scramble that way. But again, white belt situation, all good. I'd rather re-grip up on top. But again, white belt situation, it's all good. It's how we learn. All right, blowing out his wad, that's for sure. That's what's happening. He is definitely losing all stamina in his biceps right now. 20 seconds on that hold. All right, Mark gets his head out. Okay, I like Mark's knee going in the middle of the butt. It's on the outside. Not a big fan, but we'll see. Now, Mark did this with Lex. See, we want that knee to be in the middle of the butt. Now, the problem right here is that the opponent has his leg. Again, if you guys want to, go back and watch that video. Mark has a tendency of doing this. Wouldn't be surprised if that's how he got his leg torn. But when we when we break the guard in this position, Mark's hand... So Mark's hand is in a good position on the shoulder right here inside. We essentially want to put both hands inside the biceps, pushing up, and then us posturing up for him to be on his back butt area, and a knee into the inside butt cheek of our opponent, giving us space, breaking the guard, and then passing. I'm okay with him coming up into this combat stance. When we do the combat stance, though, I want one of the knees to be in the middle of the butt, and the other leg needs to be out. I don't want the other foot to be up front, and that's where he captured his leg. It's a common mistake. It's a very common mistake, but again, that's why if you're going to do knee on belly or combat stance, we need to practice pushing out our feet, so that way we're not standing one off. I don't want to be. I don't want one foot in front of the other. I want to be parallel outside. That way they don't have any tendency to grab my ankle. So let's keep going here. Again, Mark. See, Mark's focusing on one limb. I don't like when we focus on one limb. Dude, I could use my head right there and have a hands-free motion. But good job pressing again the biceps. But again, that's where his mistake was. The leg was too close. Mark needs to push his leg down. Keep pushing the leg down. But again, that's a lot of pressure on that knee for Mark. I wouldn't be surprised again if that's how he got hurt. Not in this particular one, but maybe another match. Because bad habits are bad habits. Dude, that hurts. And again, I don't know why he's going for his leg right here. Unless he's going for a leg lock. That's twice. That's twice he has pulled those pants. I would be taking a point away from him right now. That's twice. One, you get a warning. All right. Now, quick thing I want to mention. So, like I was saying, Mark needs to be in a combat stance. So in a combat stance, one leg is up and the other is parallel to it. Okay, in the combat stance. Sometimes it can be down, one knee up, one knee down. But for me, I like both knees up, and I want to see Mark's knee go right in the center of both of our opponent's knees. But again, right here, Mark is focused. Like it's really weird. I always think of positions. Or weight distributions for holding our opponent down. Like wherever the most weight is where our opponent's going to be laying. So if I'm going to put all my chest pressure on this position, that's where we're going to be pinned to the mat. If I'm putting my hip pressure on his shoulder, that's where we're going to be pinned to the mat. So where Mark's at right now, those different levels, I can see that Mark's like hip and belly area is what's keeping them pinned, but it's actually the hand area that I'm concerned about because we have both joints on a shoulder right here where in fact he could just be using his head and taking his right hand and peeling off that leg if he needed to in that combat stance. So that's what I wanted to see him do, put that hand, but again, I can tell when you have a newbie, his hands are so loose. I like to be like palm strike ready. I like my hands always like cocked back, ready to go. I know that's a really weird detail. But again, okay, we got a pant grab. And instead of the pant grab, what's again a common mistake in gi jiu-jitsu, that's why I do like it correlating into no gi, but with the wrist cocked back, I don't really need to use the gi. It's just backup. The gi is the backup. I can push the leg down. I prefer that. The gi is just, for me, is just a little more leverage.
Jackson Brothers Jiu-Jitsu.
So much yelling. So after the ref addresses that pull, Mark's holding on to his hand so the guy doesn't, bring around for the armbar. What Mark needs to do is either do a fast shoulder press on this side right here and kind of do like a double under and pass the shoulder that way. Or I'm sorry, pass the legs that way. Or he could go backdoor it and press him down and go that way. But again, I think he's just worried about that armbar, which I understand. Opens it back up. Omoplata armbar situation. Now, right here, this is where, in my opinion, a lot of people screw up. And it's a really basic thing when you really think about it. So we're so concerned about this elbow joint right here. Okay, he's got two hands on one wrist, and watch how simple this is. He's got 2 feet around one head. Look how much look how much real estate back here that we have that we can work with. And this is where the legs of ourselves come in, or I should say Mark come in. So when Mark gets in this situation, I haven't seen this video, so we'll see what happens. We need to backdoor it on here. We just need to pull our head back. And then we pretty much can disco ball all the way around. And let's see what he does. No, he lifts him up. Okay, so armbar, he goes down to the mat. And then he takes the back. Okay. And it's just because the reason why he did that is because he only has, just like wrist control. He should be down here, but, light belts. I'm trying to think of a movie where, one of those rich guys like goes into the pit and, it's like Undercover Boss, that's, what, man, I know what it feels like to be just a regular human, what it means to be just, pedestrian. I heard that word the other day. I thought that was fascinating. Reality check, definitely a reality check for him in that situation. Mark did a few things right and wrong, but again, he is a white belt, learning all the tips and tricks. I think Mark is I read people for a living. I know that sounds weird, but I do read people. Mark seems like a very cautious, obviously a calculated type gentleman, calculating the risk reward of his moves. His mistakes of grabbing things, he probably puts in the computer to fix the error code. What else can I say? Oh, and then the last thing too is Mark Mark lacks the ability to go for some submissions, kind of risking it for the biscuit, if you will. You see here. I mean, with Lex, he had a couple setups, but during competition, it's really tough to get something off. But I like the end right here where he had something. Plus, listen, when in competition, you guys, dude, you're so gassed. You are so gassed. Okay, so seeing to the end of the video, Mark's gonna quickly progress. He's gonna do a great job. But I had this theory. We have the Matrix, right? Like you have the Matrix theory. And we becoming self-aware. And I believe Elon thinks that, right? So I thought it was hilarious because, in the Matrix we have the creator or the Godfather, whatever his name was. I could see Mark coming out like in a jiu-jitsu match, coming out and be like, I am the creator of all y'all. Now let's roll, and has like some like has the Neo scene where all the guns like fly by. I can see him like the coolest jiu-jitsu mat with all the the coolest scenery around type thing. But yeah, that was a weird rant. What are you gonna do? Oh man, but it would be cool. It would be cool to see if Mark Zuckerberg could cyborg and Neuralink and Cyberlink his body to computer and see what kind of jiu-jitsu moves he could. You guys remember that from the Matrix where he called that jiu-jitsu? I'm gonna learn jiu-jitsu. I should put that scene in there right now, but I'm lazy and I don't want to edit that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think with Mark Zuckerberg training jiu-jitsu. See you guys.